Hello, gorgeous women of the Magic on Legs program. Okay, first thing, I need to have a good look at you. This is awesome. So many of you on camera. This is so great. Thank you for being here. I'm wearing my crown lamp. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so this is actually going to be quite an extraordinary thing that we're doing. I want to set the context for you really strong. So, as you saw, this was a masterclass that was created in 2021, and it was quite a spectacular impact. A lot of time when people come into AFE or come into my world, they're like, I met you in Magic on Legs. It was a huge catalyst for the AlphaTeam brand, and it changed a lot of things just for the company and for my clients. For me, it was just a huge masterclass. And I've been feeling it recently that it would be coming back soon. And I just kept my energy open to see when the right timing would be. And then it just hit me. It was like, it's now. It's got to happen now. And so for those of you who know human design, does anybody here know human design at all? I am a sacral authority in human design, which means when it hits me, it's like, uh-huh. And when hits, there's nothing about it. Like we're not negotiating with It's like, if it's happening, it's happening. And so we launched Magic on Legs, decided to do it for International Women's Day. And the idea of this is probably the greatest thing for all of us, because it's not just about the information. And why I'm so excited for the next while with you is because this is not just about the information. It's about the integration and the actual experience of you becoming Magic on Legs. So instead of just doing a 5-day masterclass, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, what we're doing is a 5-day masterclass on months, one module a month for 5 months. And so I've been feeling into it, and I'm like, I don't think I want the first call to be just a module. I want to set a context and talk about something that wasn't really in the other modules and start us this way. And so it will actually be 6 months, because there will be this one, and then there will be 5 other modules after this. And every month, there's going to be a context for the month and an idea for you to hold your entire business, your entire life, your relationships, your own relationship with yourself. Every single month, the idea is going to be to focus on something where you can really see tangible results in your world, in your life, and celebrate them in this group so we can see who's doing what, keep each other excited about this. So it's not just a 5-day class that you get very excited about and then ends. It's more a context that's building on itself every single month. So Magic on Legs is so funny because just the sentence says it all. It's like Magic on Legs, the magnetism, the energy, the raw feeling of like, who is that person? And when you think of a person who just walks into a room and the whole energy of the room changes, what is that about a person? And I want to share with you that everything I'm teaching you right now in this masterclass, I have utilized through so many different seasons of my life. And so Magic on Legs is an energy I was able to tap into when I was completely broke, and it changed my magnetism in a way I could not even explain. And it's something I've continued to be able to turn on when I've had some wealth, and also something that I've been able to turn on when I've had more wealth. And it's not true that the more wealthy you are, the more magnetic you are. I've also been able to connect with a lot of people in the world that have been at different wealth journeys. In my beginning, a lot more people in my wealth situation. And then as I've become more and more successful, I've been connected to other people. And what I've seen across the board is that it's not just because you're rich that you're magnetic. I've also done Magic on Legs single and heartbroken, and started my journey with Magic on Legs single and gone through dating phases with Magic on Legs, and then being engaged, Magic on Legs, and all throughout the relationship, from absolutely single and having this relationship with myself and the magnetism in the outside world, to in a relationship when I turn Magic on Legs on, there's an energy in the relationship that's quite phenomenal. This is something that I've turned on at the biggest I've ever been, where it felt like I had very little confidence when I learned to turn it on, Magic on Legs, in my least where I felt the least beautiful, where I felt the least visually what people would expect from beauty, and I turned magic on legs on. It made no sense. And I've also had magic on legs when I felt the most lean and curvy and beautiful. Doesn't matter. It's not about the way you look either. I've turned on magic on legs at 25 and 35, and I've seen women turn magic on legs on at 45, 55, 65, 75, and it does not matter, because magic on legs is magic on legs. The kind of things that I really want to bring forward in my work, what I care about for us, is timelessness, classic, something that's going to walk with you for all of your life. I don't want to teach you to do something that changes as time passes. I want to teach you things that age well with you, that grow old and beautiful and sensual and magical with you. I want you to be able to feel beautiful no matter where your financial situation is, your relationship status is, how your body is feeling. It's not supposed to be something circumstantial. And that's why this is such a powerful thing. It's not, oh, right now I'm the most gorgeous I've ever been. I feel this way. I'm magic on legs. It's like, no, I can turn this on like magic. It doesn't matter. I can turn this thing on, and I will be able to turn it on for the rest of my life. So the first thing we've got to anchor into in order to really begin this in the right energy is to recognize that the power of a woman is not contingent on her looks. It is not contingent on her relationship status. It is not contingent on her financial status. The magic of a woman is quite simply just the magic of a woman. And when you turn this on, it is absolutely undeniable. In our team, we have Cheryl AlphaTeam. If you've ever had the pleasure of speaking to Cheryl AlphaTeam, she is, in my opinion, one of the most magnetic human beings I have ever met in all of my life. We had a team meeting, and I'll be sharing pictures of the whole team soon, but Cheryl is, if I'm not mistaken, almost 60. And in every room we walk in, the crowd kind of stops. She is something else. Her energy, her vibrancy, the way she speaks with people, the way she smiles, her laugh. She has 20, 30-year-old men staring at her and flirting with her across the table, and she has every woman in the room hanging on to every word, because there's something about her magnetism. She's something else. It is out of this world, this magnetism, and she's always had it. It has never gone away. And it's not something that she puts on. It's an effortlessness. And so if you ever have the chance to meet her, you'll feel what I'm telling you. It is quite shocking, and it has never mattered. It doesn't matter with age. It doesn't matter whether she was a career woman with her own business, or whether she, decided to join forces with me in AlphaTeam. It didn't matter how old she was. It didn't matter how voluptuous she was. None of it mattered. Over the years, I've seen every single iteration of her, and every single iteration of her is a showstopper. Cheryl AlphaTeam. So what I would really love for you to take into consideration here is that this is the kind of information that's going to take you through all of your life. It's not just about now. It's not just about you being your best self for the next couple of years. It's not about you becoming real good for 1 year of your most powerful self. This is something I want you to feel can never be taken away from you as long as you live. That until your last day on earth, people will look at you and say, who is that? Because of how they feel when they're around you. And this is the thing with magic on legs. What I realized in my life is that magnetism, even love, attraction, it's not even about the person. It's about how we feel when we're around a person. That's what magnetism is. That's what love is. That's what attraction is. It's like, I feel attracted to you because of how I feel when I'm around you, whether it's because I feel hot and bothered, whether it's because I've got butterflies in my belly, whether it's because I feel seen, and that makes me feel alive, and now I'm falling for you because of how I feel about myself around you. The interesting thing is that to be magnetic is even more so about your ability to hold yourself in the presence of another person. So the first step is to hold yourself in your presence of yourself. Because what you've got to understand is that confidence isn't about how I feel. It's how I feel about myself when I'm feeling about myself. This is what confidence is. How I feel about myself when I'm feeling about myself. This is kind of interesting because you can say, I feel a little bit stressed, but I'm feeling really powerful when I'm feeling stressed. There's always two emotions that's going on in the body. There's the feeling you're feeling, and there's the feeling you feel about the feeling you're feeling. And this is called a compounded emotion. Now, we're going to talk about these in this masterclass, in this program, because compounded emotion really help us if we use them in the right direction. But compounded emotion are also what keeps us stuck in anger. They're what keep us stuck and make us feel like we can't get out of an emotion when we compound a negative emotion. So to give you an example, if I'm sad and it makes me mad that I'm sad because it's my birthday or it's Christmas, or it's like the being mad about being sad is the worst. If I'm mad about being sad, I can hang on to that emotion for days because I shouldn't be. It's not just that I'm sad. Sad comes and goes, but mad about being sad? When you're sad about being sad, or if you're mad about being mad, or if you're mad about being disappointed, the more you compound the emotion, the more solid it gets. And so women are very good at this because we're good at compounding emotions multiple times. You can be sad about being mad because you're disappointed, because you should feel happy and you're not. So you're frustrated that you're not happy and it makes you sad. And you're disappointed that you're sad on a day that you should be happy, which makes you mad. That's the complex emotion of a woman. It's not as simple as I'm happy. I'm not. It's like the fact that I'm not makes me feel, and the fact that I'm not makes me feel, and the fact that I'm not makes me feel, and blah, 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 blah. And it grows even more. And so by the time someone's trying to help you untangle it, they can't just even go with the first emotion you felt. They've got to start untangling the fact that you're disappointed about being mad about being sad on a day that you're supposed to be happy. And the whole thing's a bit of a mess. But when you start to compound positive emotion, where it's like, I feel hopeful, and it makes me feel excited when I'm hopeful, and I'm happy when I feel hopeful because it means good things. So I feel great about feeling excited, about feeling good, about feeling hopeful. That is like I'm compounding in the right direction. This kind of starts to feel like, okay, you're locking in the emotion. It's as if the more you compound an emotion, the stronger you trap it, which is great if you're doing it on purpose, and not so great if it's happening by a bad habit. So what we're wanting to do is to learn how to compound the emotions that make us feel magnetic, and to really dwindle and untangle the emotions that get us in our head about stuff. So you're going to have feelings. We can't really control our feelings. Our feelings are like our journey. Where we become capable of making a really big change in our life is the feelings about our feelings. And when you have powerful feelings about your feelings, something next level happens. So I want to give you an example of a conversation I had with a woman that made me feel very impressed with her resiliency. A couple of days ago at the hair salon, I saw this woman who went and had a procedure, a beauty enhancing procedure on her body, that when she explained to me what it took for her to do this procedure, I was like, there is no way that I would ever put myself through that kind of pain. There's just no way. And so I asked her, I was like, but was it worth the pain? And I'm going to tell you what she said to me. She said, I'm not willing to say that this is pain because I chose it. I think that pain comes with trauma. And I went to the doctor and I signed a paper and said, please do this to me. And so did it come with discomfort? Yes. But I'm not willing to call it pain because I chose it. I said, you are a wise woman. I'm not willing to call it pain if I chose it. So here's the thing about magic on legs energy. It's not always going to be easy. You'll sometimes have feelings that feel uncomfortable. But if you are choosing this life to be just a little bolder than most people are, just a little more magnetic than most people are, just a little more seen than most people are, that might come with discomfort. And from this point forward, may we not call it pain if we chose it. May we just call it the discomfort that we were willing to try on the journey to becoming the person we want to be because we chose this. So will this come with discomfort? Yes, it will. But you're going to be okay because this is your choice. It's your choice to be just a little bolder, a little braver, a little bit more than you've ever been. My bum is sliding off my seat. So what I really want to anchor in with you in this module is the feeling of I I'm the person in life that has the choice to create whatever it is that I want. Whether what I create works or not, that I've got to deal with, which means the bigger my decision is to create big things, the more potential risk there is that it doesn't work, which means it could come with discomfort. If I start to compound discomfort, if I compound the pain, I'm going to get lost in a lot of doubt and fear. But if when the pain comes, I sit with myself, like for example, you put yourself on social media and someone has something mean to say about what you're thinking, what you're feeling. You walk into a room and someone makes a comment about your confidence. All the things we're actually a little bit afraid about, which is why we don't do the magic on legs thing. Those things might actually start to show up now once we go all in. So just to see, as a group, let's look in the comments. Type for me, what's your biggest fear of turning on the magic on legs magnetism? What's your biggest fear? Is it the judgment of other people? Is it people wondering like, who the heck does she think she is? Is it that you're going to do it and then it won't change anything? Is it you're going to get unwanted attention, overwhelm, disappointment, that I'll become prey, that I'll receive more hate and judgment, that I'll be rejected, that I'll be so seen and exposed in my raw essence and and then there's fear of rejection, overwhelm, that I'm going to fail anyway, that it would be rejected, unwanted attention, rejection, overwhelm, disappointment, nothing will change, being rejected, the visibility won't result in success, that others won't feel comfortable around me, that I can't hold the energy, none, just need to turn it on, rejection, insignificance, that I won't be able to hold the attention, that I'll be rejected and judged and outcast, and then I'll still be alone, judgment of others, unwanted attention, I believe, judgment, not withholding my own boundaries, saying yes when I want to say no, that I'll be free to myself and then I'll get caught off guard and someone will say something hurtful, not change and more disappointment, negative feedback, uncomfortable attention, being seen for my body and not my mind, jealousy, honestly, I'm afraid I'd leave my partner, criticism, disconnection, unwanted sexual attention, difficulty to hold the success, people's low vibes and jealousy and envy, how I'll keep it up. I'm not bothered what others say. I just want to feel magic again. Judgment, I won't change, that it won't change anything, that I'll feel misunderstood, fear of ridicule as if I'm pretending, judgment, that people will tell me I've changed, unwanted attention, me not living up to the magic, judgment, fear of rejection, that I'll take a lot of my energy, that nothing changes. Can we kind of see here that there's patterns? This is why we're not doing the big thing, is because either we're going to do it, it's not going to work. Because either we're going to do it and it's going to work and we'll be like, whoa. Oh no. That either all of a sudden we're going to turn something on and be like, turn it off. Turn it off. There's a lot of fear, and the big fear, the overarching fear in all of this is as if magic on legs is something you're not already. What I feel when I read all of this is it's as if the magic on legs energy that I speak about is something that you don't already have. And that's where the fear is coming from. That it would be something you would have to pretend, that it would have to be something that you're not, that it would have to be something that you're not really effortlessly what it is inside of you. And I will tell you that's not even the fact. What magic on legs energy is the release of the pretending that you're smaller than you are. So the things that really, I understand the fear, are the unwanted attention. But the fact is, if you're afraid of unwanted attention, it means you've already received unwanted attention. Because you don't just be yourself and get something you've never gotten. You were yourself, you created a defense mechanism, and then you changed. And then you got less of it. I completely understand because I did the exact same thing. So what we want to look at here is before we start turning on the magic on legs energy and everywhere, We want to turn the magic on legs energy with ourselves. So the first month of this, I don't even want you to go out into the world and try to get everybody to be so magnetized by you that they pass out. That's not the goal. We're not going to go with that big right off the hop. We're going to go with your experience of yourself with magic on legs energy. And we're going to see how that changes your relationship to you. So it's going to be at first in the privacy of your own life. If you don't feel ready to turn it on in the outside world on month 1, I think you'll be shocked at what happens if you just turn it on with yourself. So there is something that I learned in personal development that really kind of freaked me out. And I will tell you, I just could not believe that this is not something that every single woman on earth is taught the minute we are a woman. Did you know? Okay, I'm going to ask this question, and I know some of you already know because some of you have been studying with me for a while, and others probably learned this on their own, but some of you will be like, wait, what? If I ask you, what is the most powerful feminine hormone in the body? What would you say? Like, what's the one that's the most important for you to know about? Of all the ones, estrogen, 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 progesterone, and then the people I recognize, oxytocin. I thought for sure estrogen was the one. Estrogen's the feminine hormone, and testosterone's the masculine hormone. Until I found out about oxytocin. So I want to talk to you about oxytocin because I feel like it's going to set this module, this program up real strong, and it's going to give you opportunities to tap into this with yourself because magic on legs is also a chemical response. Oxytocin is the connection and love hormone. It's when you breastfeed a baby, you are like riddled with oxytocin. It's funny to say riddled in a good sense. I feel like people only use that in a bad sense. Riddled with oxytocin. Anyway, you're full of it because there's this connection where there's this newborn bald thing that's ripping your nipple off and you've got to still experience love. So you've got to have the oxytocin in order to survive this moment of pain. You also have oxytocin when you're petting your animals and you're cuddling. It's a very connection hormone. And when I found this out, it kind of blew my socks off. But oxytocin is artificially created in relationships for about 3 months at the beginning. And then it starts to wear off. What do you mean? Have you ever been in a relationship that was good for 3 months and then stayed in the relationship for 5 years trying to recreate the 3 first months? Wouldn't it been really beneficial for us to find out that the first 3 months are actually artificially created by oxytocin? Maybe I've fallen in love. Maybe it's oxytocin. Like, it's not real. Wait. We're not even sure this is real. It could be artificially created. And men that have the most testosterone tend to create the most oxytocin. So if you've got one of those like really suave people who got a vibe or who are like busy and up to stuff and who are working and maybe who work out, like all the things, it's worse. And then, you know that beginning feeling? Let's talk about the beginning feeling. You know the beginning feeling where you're sitting just next to someone and then you just feel in your body like, is this person going to touch me? Because I'm going to pass out if they do. And then they like touch your leg and you're like, oh my God, like there's nothing that's happened yet. And you're hot and bothered. It's a graze of the knee and it's on like Donkey Kong. Like, what is even happening? It's a kiss on the cheek and your whole body goes, is the difference between 3 months where he kisses your neck and you go, oh my gosh, and 3 years where he kisses your neck and you go, stop it, I'm trying to sleep. Why is that so different? Because one is artificially created with oxytocin, and the other one is if you have not made sure to continue to cultivate your own oxytocin in your life. You think it's the partner. Now, even in same-sex relationships, there tends to be a feminine, masculine energetic in the relationship. And so if you're in a relationship where you're in a same-sex relationship and you tend to be the more masculine energy, some of this may feel a little odd, but it's going to make you understand your partner a little bit more. If you're in a relationship where you're with a man that's very more in a feminine energetics and you're more in the masculine energetics, this also may feel a little strange, but you're going to understand the magnetism. What's more important for you to understand, though, is that as a woman, if you are not cultivating your own oxytocin, your own connection to yourself drops. And you will find that you are the most turned on in life when you're turned on about you. If you're feeling a little sluggish, you've eaten too much and you're just like, ugh, and then your partner is coming on, strong, and you're like, no, you can't, I'm going to blow up. Like, I'm so bloated. I might fart. Like, we're not doing this. This is not good for me tonight. Like, I don't feel good at all. I feel bloated. I feel, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me there. Don't look, don't feel, don't, no. All of that is all how I feel about me. When you meet a new person and they are just so attractive to you and you can't believe this person's attracted to you, sometimes it overrides your sense of self. It's almost like I am so attracted to myself when I'm with you. I'm in the bathroom taking selfies as if I was 16. What's happening? Like, I feel young and hot and I feel attractive and I've shaved my legs and I don't know what's happening to me, but it's like, it's me. I feel attracted to me. I put myself in certain little angles where my collarbone pops and I find myself just like angling myself in ways where I think I'm hot. I feel hot. Like, it's me. I feel hot about me. And so when we fall for people in the beginning, a lot of times it's like, when I'm with you, I feel alive, vibrant, sexy, awake. I feel like I haven't felt like this in so long. And if you think about any friend you've ever had that's fallen for someone and it's brand new, what are the iconic words that a woman will say? No matter how many times she'll say it in a new relationship, she'll say, no, you don't understand. I have never felt this way before. And you're like, sure did. Let me look back at my text messages a few months back when you were dating this person. And then let me scroll up a little further and I recognize the words here again once more, and then once more over here. This seems to be a pattern. No, but I have never felt this way before about me. You forget how you feel about you. This person comes into your life and all of a sudden how you feel about you starts to change. And it's like, no, the way you make me feel. I feel like I could. When I'm with you, it feels like I feel like I. So the problem, and why I'm so kind of annoyed that we've never had this conversation before as women growing up, because you could very well have a conversation and sit a young girl down the minute she has a period and said, now let me have a very important discussion with you. Things will happen to you in your body and you think you'll think you're in love. You'll think you're in love with the worst person you should never be in love with because it's a bad plan, but it's not them. You've got to wait a little bit. Not because or else you're a bad girl, not because or else he'll never call you back, not because or else you'll have a bad reputation, because it could be not real. And the problem is, if you fall in love during the oxytocin phase, you will fight to the death for that relationship to go back to what it was. How many young girls do we see full of potential with a guy 2-3 years older than her, who's all about one thing? He's going to break her heart. There's absolutely no question about that. He has absolutely no emotional intelligence. She could already run circles around him in every single other area. But what happened? She's riddled with oxytocin and she can't see. She just feels like a woman for the first time in her life. It doesn't matter that he's inadequate in every possible sense, that he's still a child, that he's ignoring her to play video games while she's doing the whole collarbone popping out, knee, touch my knee. It doesn't matter that she's doing that. He's playing video games. And she's just waiting for him to see. She's putting makeup on in the morning to make sure he sees her only perfect because she feels that way, which is wait 3 months. Wait 3 months before you fall in love. Because if you fall in love while you're riddled with oxytocin, when the oxytocin drops, you'll think there's something wrong with you. Don't fall in love in the first 3 months, because if you fall in love while the oxytocin isn't real, isn't true, isn't yours, You will fight to the death to bring the oxytocin back. And you'll say things like this to the partner you're with. I don't know what changed. In the beginning, you were so romantic. No, it wasn't. It wasn't? No. He was. He texted me every morning. He said, "Good morning, gorgeous." That's all it takes on oxytocin. Good morning, gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I think it means good morning. No, but good morning. You're freaking out. This is too good. The romance is sky high. Really? The romance is so good. What happened? He took me to the restaurant. I'm gonna tell you what happened. We went to the restaurant, we went to a movie, and then we got in the car. He kissed me. I've never felt this way before. No, you have. Let me just read you your text messages from the last date. We don't recognize that this isn't really real. It feels so true, it feels so real because it's inside of our body. It's not even about the person, it's about how you feel about you. And how you feel about you is like I'm alive. I've never felt this way before. Yes, you have. So here's our mission and our responsibility on earth is to teach young girls about oxytocin so that they can create the oxytocin themselves before someone artificially creates it. So here's the issue. If you're in a relationship where the oxytocin is low, which means you're not cultivating it yourself, and the person in your life isn't making you feel like the butterflies and all the things, and then you meet a new person at work, you are very in danger of thinking you're not in love with your partner anymore. Because you'll start saying like, oh my gosh, I haven't felt this way in like 30 years. Like, yes, that's because you haven't been cultivating oxytocin. That's not because gorgeous Eric from accounting said, "Morning, gorgeous." That's not why you don't think you're in love anymore. Why you think you're not in love anymore is because when he said that, you went, which you haven't been cultivating on your own. So the craziest, poor Eric, poor husband. Eric's happy. Eric's like, all I need to do is tell the ladies, "Morning, gorgeous," and I've got them all freaking out. Eric is happy, so happy. Eric feels like Hercules. He walks into work in the morning. He's like, And also, may we just say that Eric is in very big danger if he's married because he texts his wife, "Good morning, gorgeous," and she says, "Yeah, morning. Did you take out the garbage like I asked?" It doesn't work anymore. And she tells him, "You used to be so romantic." And he says, "I'm doing the same thing with you as I do with the women at the office, and they are passing out at the fax machine." So I don't know, because I think I'm doing great. You should see Nancy at the office. She squirms every time I walk by. She does the collar neck, big collarbone thing. She's like, "Touch me." And I'm like, "No, I'm married," but like, I send you "Morning, gorgeous" every morning, and you're like, "Great. Can I get a coffee? Can I get a this? Thank you." Where did the magnetism go? It went out the window. With the oxytocin. Eric's the new Karen. Well, I feel like Karens need a break. I have received feedback. I have received the feedback. I acknowledge the feedback. We're giving Karens a break. Bless their heart. It's not very fair. Okay. So this is the big thing that I want us to look at right now. What is oxytocin? How is it created? I am going to give you a list of things in this group later on that you can do that actually raise your oxytocin. There are things that you can eat to increase oxytocin. There are activities that you can do that increase oxytocin. A lot of the times, if you're working out really hard, you're going beyond oxytocin. But if you go for a beautiful walk and you feel the breeze on your skin, like oxytocin. If you're doing yoga, but I am breathing and I am reconnecting to the divine within me, that's perfect. If you're like pretzeling downward dog so you can stand on your head and get an award of yoga, then no, that's not oxytocin. Oxytocin is the calmness, it's the cuddles, it's the love, it's the thing. I'm going to put a whole list. Sunshine on your skin, oxytocin. There's so many things you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can totally see how those things create that. But I want to give you an even bigger context for oxytocin, an even bigger context. Because if you're doing it like to succeed or fail, if you're saying, okay, well, I need more oxytocin in order to be more ooey gooey, it works, but it doesn't work as well as with this context, which is the magic on legs context. So if you decide in this next month, I am becoming magic on legs, I will be so turned on by me. I will be so magnetized by myself. There'll be no one in the room and I'll be doing the collarbone popping and the smooth legs and the, because I love me and I love how I feel when I feel like this about me. It's going to change the energy. If you can create, and this is what I wish every conversation was for the younger women that enter this womanhood era, is let's talk about oxytocin towards you before it ever matters about anybody else. Because if you are so lit up by yourself, if you are so, oh my gosh, enamored by you, it's going to take a lot more than good morning gorgeous to send the oxytocin flying in your body. It's going to take a lot more than one person with a vibe to make you go, I haven't felt this way in 30 years. I haven't felt like this all year. I haven't felt like this all summer. I haven't felt, it takes more to get you hot and bothered if your experience of yourself is that you're hot and bothered about you. You know you're fabulous, you know you're magnetic, and you know you're great. That means when there are 20 different people coming at you completely enamored by you, your experience of yourself is like, I know. It's not, oh my gosh, really? You think I'm so many nice things? I'm pretty. Say it again. Let's go for dinner so you can tell me I'm pretty because I really like it. It makes me feel good about me. Instead, you're like, I know. Thank you. I know. Which is such a different thing that people are scared of saying. People want to be so humble. They want to say, really, you think I'm pretty? Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Oh my gosh. Instead of like, thank you comes from I know. Really comes from, say it again. Say it again, please. Because when you say it, it gives me good feelings. Instead of, thank you for acknowledging that, and I already knew. And of course it makes me feel good, but I already knew. And so it just reinforces what I already know. That is so much safer for us to feel. Because when you think of the danger of the falling for the wrong person, it's the person that gives you the attention you haven't been giving yourself. It's the person that gives you crumbs, and somehow it feels like enough because you've been giving yourself nothing. If you give yourself nothing, anybody that gives you anything feels exciting. And I will tell you this because we're going to work on this during the whole thing. This is also heavily impacted in business. Everything I'm going to teach you also applies to business. If you are not so clear about how great you are, when someone comes into your inbox and says, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with you. I've watched all your videos and I want to do this business with you and that with you. And you're just like, you don't have discernment about what kind of client you let into your world. You're excited because someone wants to do business with you, except they're not the right client. They ask for so much. They give you no recognition, no gratitude. They overwork you. They're not. And then you're just like, what happened? Where's the magic from the beginning? There was no magic from the beginning. They said, I'm obsessed. I binge watched your stuff. That's not love. That's not respect. That's not nothing. That's just, blah. I threw flowers at you. And so as you build yourself and you understand that like, I am great. When a person comes to you and says, you're great, you say, thank you. And the minute they start to be odd, you'll be like, huh, instead of, oh no, what have I done wrong? Because if your belief in yourself is conditional to what someone else believes about you, then the minute they stop believing it, you start to overgive and overcompensate. And it's the same thing in relationships. You'll notice the person who you're not sure about chases you a little bit. You like it. You're not quite sure about them yet. But then the minute they start to go cold, you're like, hey, come back. I wasn't sure about it when it was happening, but I don't like it that it's going. And then all of a sudden you start giving more. We do this in love, in life, in friendships, in business. If the receiving of good feelings inside of you is conditional to another person, if that person ever steers away, it feels like you need the person to bring it back, but you don't. Those are really beautiful signs that you've not been feeding yourself enough oxytocin. So this magic on legs energy, the first step of it is to recognize, I want to understand this, not just to impress other people, not just to get rich, not just to be magnetic and have tons of sex appeal. That all is going to happen, but you've got to learn to hold this in your body like it's okay and it's normal. And that's the first stage, because everything else you're afraid of comes with if the oxytocin was out of control. And so you're walking down the street and someone gives you unnecessary attention and you're not used to it because oxytocin is not something you're used to having in your body. You're like scared of it, versus someone gives you unnecessary attention. You look at them and you're like, no, just no. Of course you think I'm hot. Everybody thinks I'm hot, me included. Of course you think I'm magnetic. Everybody thinks I'm magnetic, me included. Of course, thank you, but no. You're going to have to make this a normal thing. And the only reason it feels scary right now is because usually when it happens, it catches you off guard or it makes you a little frazzled. And when people can frazzle us with their love, admiration, the fact that they're magnetized to you, if you get frazzled by that, you'll be afraid of a lot of it. But our goal is to normalize that. You don't want to desensitize it, because that's the thing where you look at someone, you say, you're beautiful. And she goes, yeah, I know. We don't want that. We want, thank you. It's just, thank you is this energetic match for, I know, but it's not, I know, it's thank you. The other one is, you just gave me something I don't have. And now I feel full for a moment and I need more. If I don't create my own oxytocin, I need other people to give it to me. And I'm constantly searching for validation. I'm constantly searching for admiration. I'm constantly looking for something, trying stuff, afraid of losing stuff, and it changes our point of magnetism. So the other fear that I really picked up on in this group was, what if I can't hold it? What if it's something that I have and then I lose it? Well, if I have it and I lose it, it wasn't self-created. If I have it and I lose it, someone else was giving it to me. So why I want us to really focus on the self for this first month is, you're going to see, if you give this to you, you get to decide what happens with it. Just saw a question pop up and I got a zing about it. Let me just look. Where's the line between confidence and pretentious? Pretentious is someone says, you're beautiful, and you say, I know. Confident is someone says, you're beautiful, and you say, thank you so much. You receive it. It just doesn't shock you. You receive it. It just doesn't give you an artificial jolt of confidence you didn't have until someone said that to you. And you'll see that the difference of, I barely believe it when someone tells me I'm beautiful. I'm afraid to believe it because what if it isn't true? I'm shy to hear it because nobody ever says that to me. Instead of, I have been working on believing this for so long, so thank you so much for this. Thank you for showing me in this moment that when you said that I was beautiful, all I felt inside was good. Because lack of confidence means even when someone compliments you, it doesn't just feel good. It feels wobbly. It feels scary. If you don't have confidence and someone says you're so beautiful, there's this feeling of like, what do you want? Is it true? Are you lying? Why would you say that? Am I safe? This is odd. Why? What did I do? What am I wearing? Have I, are you making fun of me? Is this going to backfire? Like, there's so much stuff. I'm not beautiful. I felt extra weird today, extra bloated today, extra this today. Why would you say that? Are you looking for something? But when you've been working on yourself and someone says something beautiful to you and something complimentary to you, it's just like very beautiful to receive. It's an acknowledgement of something that you know. Like when someone tells you, you're so kind, you don't go, really? You think so? When someone says you're so kind, you say, thank you so much, because you know. When someone says you're so kind, you don't go, I know. Like, that's not the vibe. There's a feeling inside of just like an acknowledgement of truth. The truth is the strongest frequency on earth. The goal is that when people say great things to you, it vibrates like the truth. And if people say things to you that aren't great, it doesn't vibrate like the truth. And so it just doesn't hit, because you're magic on legs. And it's very clear that you know what's true about you. And then when people say things to you that you know are true about you, they land. And when people say things about you that they don't feel true about you, they don't land. And so this is where magic on legs also becomes really extraordinary. And it's something you've got to craft over time, and you become more powerful at it in all the dimensions. So if you tap into yourself and you say, okay, where am I most excited to feel like magic on legs? Where am I most excited in my life to have that energy of like, I know, as much as you know, you're kind is true. You're so kind. Thank you. As much as you know that's true, what are other things you really want to feel are true about you? And you're so looking forward to the day that no external person's validation is going to make you happier. You know, do you want this yourself? You want to know, like, I want to know for myself that I am, and not things you already are. So maybe I'm not asking the question properly, but what is it about you that you would like to add magic on legs to? So I want when people say you're so magnetic, be like, yes. You're the one who got away. Yes. Where else do you want to be able to just be like, I know. Like, you're a great businesswoman. You're the best there is. You're so talented at this. You know, you're so beautiful. I'm in love with you. You're an incredible parent. You're so beautiful. You're enough. You're worthy. You're an incredible author. Your courses are extraordinary. You have the best courses. Every time I take your courses, my life changes. Like, what are some of the things that you know you really want to feel? The one, confident, magnetic, happy, powerful. So these are all things that we have to know about us before. Your work changed my life. You're sexy. You're softly powerful. There's something about you. So there's things about you that you know are true, or else you wouldn't want them to be true. This is the weird thing that I started to realize when I first started my journey. There are things about you that you already know are true. What you're looking for is the acknowledgement of other people to make sure they're true. So look at the things that came to your mind to say, because notice how they're all so different. If you wish you had the validation, you're sexy, it's because there's a part of you that feels like you are, but until you have the validation, you're not letting yourself fully believe it. For those of you who say, I want people to say that I'm an incredible businesswoman, or my courses changed their lives, it's because inside of you, you know that they do, but you just don't have the confidence to fully stand in that unless someone else validates you. This is where the magic on legs energy is the strongest. So even something like someone telling you, I'm in love with you. If you got so clear that you're in love with you, that you are the most lovable person, and that you have so much to love and give, but until someone tells you that, you won't let yourself say it, you won't let yourself believe it, your magnetism in that area drops. This is very counterintuitive, because we're told to be humble to a fault. We're told, don't be too comfortable, don't be too confident, don't be too out there, don't be too proud, don't be too all these things. But there's a difference between being boastful, which means walking out in the world going, I am the most extraordinary, sexy person on the planet. There's a difference between walking down the street going, don't you find me beautiful? I'm amazing in business. I'm the greatest there is. There's a difference between that and actually being allowed to feel it. We've taken this to heart so deeply, we've forgotten what we're allowed to feel. And so in order for it to be possible for us to be magic on legs, the idea is that we are going to attract the energetic match to who we know we are. If you're not letting yourself know that you've got it, and you need someone else's validation before you're going to let yourself know you've got it, you're going to show up so differently, because you're going to show up as a person who needs the validation instead of a person who knows. The line is so thin. But let's put this in a context of a young girl for a moment. So we put a 14 or 15-year-old in the world, and we say to this person, listen, your job in your next few years, and to be honest, probably talk to her about this when she's 12. In the next few years, you're going to experience a bunch of different changes in what you want and how you want to be acknowledged. It's going to be really weird. You're going to have this experience where instead of just being a kid that just plays and doesn't think about much, you're going to notice yourself overthinking things. Relationships are going to start to become something you think about. You're going to wonder things. You're going to wonder if you're good enough. You're going to need certain validations from people. And there's people who are going to give you feelings that make you feel better about you than you did before those people were in the room. It'll be good for us to talk about those things, because wherever someone can give you a feeling you didn't have before, that's where we'll know you've got to work on your heart. Because at this stage of your life, there really shouldn't be someone who can give you something that you don't have inside. Someone tells you you're beautiful and it feels odd to receive that, tell me, because we're going to work on it. If someone tells you you're really smart and that feels odd, we'll work on it. If someone tells you you're cool and you're so funny and it feels odd to receive, or it feels really good to receive, like almost addicting for them to tell you that, tell me so we can talk about it. Because what we want to create for you is that by the time you're really ready to be in a relationship, by the time you have friends in your life, no one should be telling you things that make you feel like if they didn't tell you, you'd never hear it. We've got to look at what's the conversation you have with yourself. We're going to build you to be the most complete version of you, so that when people come into your life, that you don't choose them because they give you butterflies because they tell you you're hot. They don't give you butterflies because they tell you you're cool. They don't give you butterflies because they tell you something that without them you don't believe. The people who make the cut in your life, you choose them because you feel so good about who you are on a daily basis that it takes a special kind of person to make you even happier. That's what we're going to work on. Do you think we would have a different version of womanhood today if that's the kind of conversation we had with teenagers? Instead of leaving them to their own devices while they go find any person who's going to make them feel cool, sexy, funny. And what do they start to do for those things? What do young teenage girls do to feel cool? When someone's telling them, you're so cool when you do that, what are they willing to do in order to keep that? You're so funny. You're so this, you're so that, like you're so hot. 13, 14, 15, you're so hot. You drive me crazy. What are they willing to do for a little bit of that if they are not aware already that they're magic on legs? If they don't already know that they are magnetic, dangerously so magnetic, the first person that tells them that will feel like they just brought them to life. And the saddest thing is, because there's no rite of passage into womanhood, that same defense mechanism and the same way of building ourselves up that we're talking about when I'm bringing you into context of a 13, 14-year-old, we do a lot of that things as grown women if we don't clear this up. We keep living our life hoping someone is going to hire us and make us feel like our business is good enough. Someone is going to tell us that we're wise enough and that our work is good enough to make us feel like it's worth continuing. Someone is going to tell us that we're beautiful enough. Someone is going to tell us that we're hot enough. Someone is going to tell us, and if not, we're going to feel like we're not. And we're in competition with the whole world on the internet. Claire says, so as parents, do we tell them and get them to tell themselves too, or something else? The idea is to talk to them, not about how to fix it, but about the concept itself. Because the goal is it's a co-creation of their life. If you just said, if there's ever anybody who gives you a compliment and when you receive it, it feels really good, as if you probably wouldn't have thought that on your own. Or like if I tell you, you feel it, but if I don't tell you, you don't feel it. Things like if I say I'm proud of you, but if I don't say it, you don't feel good. And then someone else tells you you're cool and you feel it. Let's have discussions about that, because this is a normal thing you're going to experience during the next few years. And this is how we build up your confidence, is having these discussions. The minute they start paying attention to the fact that this is happening, their life is going to change the same way your life is going to change in this 5 month, 6 month now journey. Because what I want you to look at in your life is that it's not about the people who tell you something about you and then you feel better about you and then that person is great. It's the people who tell you something about you and then you realize how different that is from what you feel. And then you work on you until that person saying that just feels like the truth. My goal whenever I'm with people, I always look at people at the greatest they can be. I look for the beauty in people. I look for the strength in people. I always look for the greatness in people. But my intention in telling them is not to blind them with what I see. It's in hopes that if they see me see them in such a big way and they don't find that that's what they've been feeling about themselves, that they then go on a quest to say, it shouldn't feel that extraordinary for someone else to tell me that, because it's true. I'm in business, but someone else tells me that I'm brilliant in business and I feel like I've been swept off my feet. Like, what is that? Someone tells me I'm magnetic and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm like hanging on to their every word as if I didn't know. It's more like, let me be here, but with the discernment. It's not like every friend that tells you you're cool, run a mile. It's okay to have friends that think you're cool. What your job is to look at, do you only hold that friend with you because they say you're cool? Or do you actually love that friend and they think you're cool? And you just realize through that friendship that you don't think you're cool as much as they think you're cool. And if you started really taking care of you and believing that, then their compliments to you would resonate true, and your friendship with them would be even stronger, and your life would be even greater. It's in the gap. So oxytocin is very much about the experience of your life. Sometimes we feel not interesting, boring, not exciting, not magnetic, not quite good enough. Just, and then someone comes along and says something special about us, and that person becomes the attachment. Instead of that person's shining a light and us saying, I'm so grateful I have this friend to remind me that I need to work on me, because that should have felt like the truth, not like the greatest compliment I've had all year. I've got to solidify what my beliefs about myself. Because magic on legs energy is that when people tell you whatever it is that they experience about you and it's beautiful, your experience of that is thank you. The same way you experience it when someone tells you you're so kind. What do you suggest we do if we don't have confidence in our business yet and don't believe our work will have an impact on our clients' lives? So this is where we've got to start working on our own self first, because you will always be your greatest proof of concept in business, especially in the coaching world. For those of you who are coaches, but like a doctor in good health is good proof of concept. A businesswoman with a good business is proof of concept. A mindset coach with a strong mind is proof of concept. A relationship coach who's in great relationships is proof of concept. And so whatever it is that you want to do for your clients, if you have not experienced it for yourself firsthand, it's because you haven't prioritized yourself. Magic on legs is I have made sure that I took care of me first, and now I can really help you. And because of that, because I'm solid and you're becoming solid, our relationship is solid. For me, for you, for us. So there's something about, and this is something I've been teaching for quite a few years, that at first got some pushback. Then people absolutely loved it. Then it got pushed back again. And I really think the pushback comes from different ways that this is expressed. So I want to, even if you've ever heard about this concept before, I want you to see if you can eradicate what you've heard and just listen to me say this as if it's the first time you've heard it. And then if you want to put it against everything you've heard and contemplate it after we hang up, that's perfect. But just see if right now you can get behind this thought. Our life is either one of two frequencies. It's either just life and it's happening and it doesn't matter and stuff happens and I don't know, and it's just the way it is, and what are you going to do? It's either like this, or it's like life happens for a reason and there's a deeper meaning and there's a way to connect with this, and there's a way to deepen this, and there's a way to heal from this, and there's a bigger vision, and there's beautiful memories, and there, even if there's sadness, it's a beautiful sadness, and there's an energy of like meaning and depth. These are really the two ways that life can be. One is like a romantic version of life, and the other one is like a newspaper. So there's the news and there's the movies. And if you think about television, that's actually how life is represented. It's either news without a story, or a story where the facts have most definitely been a little bit altered to fit a better story. So what does it look like when we say the facts have been a little bit altered to fit the story? It means I'm sad, but I am going to, in this moment of sadness, run myself a bubble bath and dream about the day where life will be better, and have this beautiful sadness moment of crying in a bath of rose petals, thinking about a better future. This is romanticized. This creates a memory in your life that's very different than just the I am sad. News. On today's news, I am sad. Versus, and then I ran a bath of rose petals and I cried because I cried for the woman I was and the woman that I am. And I cried then tears of joy for the woman I'm becoming, and stepped out of the bath a new woman. There's something about the way I live my life when I romanticize my life. But romanticizing your life is also what a bunch of oxytocin looks like. Good morning, gorgeous. And good morning, gorgeous in your normal life when you get a text message from the person you've been married to for 15 years doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. One feels like facts of love. Of course, I'm gorgeous. You love me. You're my partner. We've been married for 25 years. Good morning, gorgeous. Oh my gosh, what does it mean? When you add that sparkle to your life, you elevate it. You create the storyline. It's as if for the next 6 months, I want to invite you to play a game with me where we write the reality series, the romance novel, the Netflix series of your life. The capturing of the essence of the most magnetic energies, thoughts, feelings, experiences that you have lived and remembered through the lens of Magic on Legs. Not Bulletin news, Magic on Legs. Bulletin news looks like this. Today at noon Eastern Standard Time, I opened my computer and watched a training from a woman who talked about oxytocin. More next month. This version looks like I decided I wanted something to change. There was this woman on the internet. There was something about the program, there's something about the name, there's something about her. I don't know what it is, but it called me in. And we had the first module and I wrote a few things down, and here are the things I'll never forget I wrote. That night, after I'd turned the computer off, all I could think about was ... And I took myself out for ... And I planned to be a little more ... And I had conversations with myself, and I journaled, and I started doing ... And I started thinking about how it changed my life and how different I felt. I looked forward to the next module, and I posted in the group and shared my experiences. And it was so wild to see so many other women share their experiences, and it made it more and more beautiful. By the time the first month had come to an end and when the second module was coming up, I was so excited because I'd already seen so much in my life change. Can you see the difference in these energies? One is life happening to you. One is life happening for you while you pick it up and create a masterpiece. Even if difficult things happened in this context, even if you had to stay in and really so anyway, I bought this magic on legs thing, and within 2 weeks I had this thing happen to me, and then I never checked back in with it again because I had no time because my life was overwhelming. Or I bought this program, and it was the perfect timing because within a couple of weeks, some things were starting to break down in my life, or something happened, and I realized I needed this more than ever, and I really leaned into it. And it was the very information that I started to learn that put me on the trajectory of starting to do this for myself in my life and blah, blah, blah. You always have the chance to take what's happening in your life and to ask yourself, what's the version of this I'll want to tell the story about when I'm 90? What's the plot twist? Because there's the facts. And if you're just letting life happen, there's only just facts. But if you live your life with magic on legs energy, everything's a plot twist. You didn't expect it. It happened and it was great. You didn't expect it. It happened. It was terrible. It was sad. It was heart-wrenching. But then when I started looking at my life like this, I swear I look at my life sometimes and I'm like, with absolutely no problem, we could write a movie about my life with no problem. I have the best scenes. Obviously, there's days that don't matter, but you write a movie that spans over a decade. How many scenes do you even need? I already know how many memories in my life make the take your breath away. I can't believe it. This is so amazing. And then the heart-wrenching, oh my gosh, you're kidding. This is the worst thing. Oh my gosh, no, it's not possible. There's the scenes of anger that you're just like enraged. And there's also the ones where you're like, I want this. There's the moments of joy, tears of joy streaming down your face. She made it. This is incredible. And the slow motion ache in your belly when you realize what's coming next. You're like, no. I have that life. And if I would have let all of those little things just happen to me, I wouldn't be who I am. But because they happened for me, they were the catalyst for new decisions. They were the catalyst for my confidence. They were the catalyst for me turning a page. They were the catalyst for me strengthening my boundaries, raising my standards, saying no or saying yes, taking a leap, changing my life. Breaking news versus and then ... The facts are just the facts. The story is what the facts created because of the imagination of the writer. You choose what happens next. There's the fact and there's what happens next. So if you're intentional about your life, something quite phenomenal starts to happen. You realize how in charge you are. You're going to realize that a lot of times in your life, you're just completely not even conscious of what you're doing. When's the last time you went to the grocery store and realized that you're like fabulous at a grocery store? And you walk down the aisles, grateful to be there. There's money in your bank account to buy the food you want to buy. There's a car in the parking lot that you get to go and put stuff in the grocery. There's an apartment you're going to or a house you're going to that's yours. You've got your purse on your hip. You're all organized. When's the last time you consciously did your groceries? Like, I'm so grateful. I'm buying this. This is going to be so delicious. I love this. Like a scene in a movie at the grocery store. Try it on. I'm not saying do this every single time you're at the grocery store if you don't feel like it, but just try it once. Bring your awareness to the things you're doing in your life. You're driving, but just change your posture. Sit in a way that you feel good driving. Look at your beautiful hands on the wheel. Take a deep breath. And then notice, oh my gosh, my car needs to be cleaned. I'm running out of gas. Whoops, I have not been aware at all of what's been going on here. Look at your house when we hang up. This is my home. Look at your clothes. Look at your bathroom. This is mine. And this were being filmed right now. Would I be happy about this? Is this really me? And just for fun, for a month, ask yourself questions. Now, what's important is that you don't start to devalue yourself for anything that's not right in your life. Oh my gosh, my car's a mess, my bathroom's a mess, everything's a mess. Oh my gosh, no, if this was being filmed, that'd be terrible. Don't do that. The goal is not for you to beat yourself up for who you were. The goal is to realize how much you've devalued your own everything by not paying attention. And just be like, that's so interesting. But yet I've made time for this person and that person and this and that. And I've done this and this and this and this and this. But my stuff, look. If you feel the desire to do something about it, do something about it. If you don't, just talk about it, think about it, contemplate it. But if you can have little moments in time where you're intentionally making your coffee, watch the coffee drip into the cup, the way you would in a movie when you're watching the coffee drip into the cup. Have moments of awareness like this. If you're on social media and you enjoy social media, this will be an amazing place to practice this. Romance your life. You wake up in the morning and you realize that the sun is coming into the bedroom in a really awesome way. Get a picture of it. Post it into this group or on your social media and say, I love when the light shines through like this. Just capture the moments of bliss. If you get your nails freshly done and your hands look really beautiful to you today, I love loving my hands. If it's not about showing off to the internet and you don't want to look like you're showing off, do it in this group. I want you to experience yourself as the main character in your movie between now and the next call. Because when we start adding in other people, you need to have a strong understanding of what you can do for yourself. I want that when people give you compliments, it just feels like the truth. I want that you can choose how you want to feel, because the thing is, magic on legs energy doesn't even just mean sexy energy. It sometimes means badass energy. It sometimes means rock star energy. It sometimes means sophisticated energy, powerful energy. It's not always just sexy. Like I have this huge, oversized, puffy coat. I've got these huge black sunglasses. I walk into a room with that. People are like, who's that? But not, who's that? But like, who's that? It's a different energy. You may not be interested in sexy energy right away. You don't need to. Bold, unapologetic, classy, clean, strong. Whatever it is that you feel about you and you wish you were getting validation for, it's like, you don't need the validation for, just live into it. So oxytocin is not necessarily artificially created for men and women. The men have a very magnetic, this is the thing when we're going to go into the relationship part of this. Men and women both have a very magnetic experience of women on oxytocin. So when you are full of oxytocin, you are the most magnetic. You'll find often if you're single, you can't find one person to notice you. And the minute you're in a new relationship, there's a couple of people who are all interested at the same time. You're like, why is this happening? It's like, because now you've got the oxytocin, so you're a magnet. When you're full of oxytocin and other women are like, gosh, you're so magnetic. How do you do that? You can't get any clients. And then next thing you need a wait list. Like, where's the middle? Why is it that when we're struggling, there's nobody there? And when we have it all. It's because once you're overflowing with the energy, it's a perpetual magnet. So it's not necessarily that men get the oxytocin, is that men get addicted to the person with the oxytocin. Same as women get also addicted to the women with the oxytocin. If you have a friend that's got it, you wish you could hang out with her every day. Do you have a friend or a person in your life that you're just like, I could sit here and talk with you all day? Like, this is so good. Is it you? This is the thing with people who are strong in their energy and that have it, is that they just feel so magnetic. You get to be that. And then it's not about, the men don't need to have oxytocin. The men just respond to the oxytocin in the most amazing way. The women respond to the oxytocin in the most amazing way. There's just something that's going to happen about you. But the beautiful thing about the first module is you're not doing this for the magnetism of others yet. The goal is not yet, and it will come, because I'm going to talk to you about how you get to really change your life in business through this, and how you get to change your relationships with this. Like every module, we're going to go deeper into this conversation. You're going to just love it. It's so fun. But before that, we need to regulate your own system around being this person for you. You need to give yourself the right to be this person. You need to write the story where you're allowed to have become this person. Because in the storyline that we're writing, because in this next 6 months together, we're writing the story of you. The first chapter, the first part, is the part where you discover yourself. Because if the first part was the part where you attracted the perfect partner and everything came next, you wouldn't be able to take full responsibility for what's about to happen to you next. And it's going to be grand. But it has to start with the day you decided you were taking your life back, that you were going to be conscious of this life you were given, and you were going to do the absolute best you could with it. It's got to be your decision and your relationship with yourself today that impacts your business, your friendships, your romantic relationships, your love life, your manifestation. So this is the magic of today. The magic of today is over the next month, you are going to have an experience of you that is self-created. You won't feel confident because enough people told you you're beautiful. You won't be confident because enough people told you you were great or wise or sexy. It'll be because you created you exactly the way you know you are, and people will just acknowledge the truth. And it'll be so great to see that truth acknowledged, not because you needed it, just because it's true. So for fun, experience yourself. I'm going to post in the group all the ways that you can tap into your oxytocin. Just for fun, not because you're letting anybody touch you. Just go shave your legs and wash your sheets and see how it feels tonight to lay in a bed with fresh sheets and soft legs. Take a shower. See if you can get yourself a shower bomb where you put it in the bottom of the shower and it fills the shower with amazing smells, and wash your body with something that smells really good. Go to the store, go find a body wash that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to smell like this. For me, get some candles in your house and light them when you feel like it, and watch the candle flicker. Start in a new notebook, things that make you feel like, who cares what everybody else thinks? It's you. You want to get a manicure, not because your nails need it, but because when you pick something up with fresh nails, somehow you're a little more aware of you. You're going to do things for you, and you're going to become aware of the sensation in your body. You're going to be aware of your walk just for fun in your house. Walk with your hips. Walk like you feel like it. Put music on and dance to the music in your house, not to work out, not to attract someone. Turn the music on and dance as if there was a scene in a movie of this woman who just finds freedom for the first time in her life. And she smiles with a smile of like rebirth, and the music is playing, and maybe she's cooking in her kitchen and she's singing with the spatula, and life is good and no one's watching. Capture these moments for yourself. Let yourself be fully free to just love you, and tell us about it. I'm going to be in the vibes with you. I'm going to be oxytocin all month. I'm so ready for this in my life. I love doing this. I love the feeling of putting myself first in mind. And it always helps everybody, because life is for me, for you, for us. And the thing is, at first, you won't even need to worry about other people, because you're not doing this for them yet. So if you realize I'm scared people won't be able to handle my bigness and my boldness, we're not even talking about that yet. We haven't even talked about how this will impact your business or your relationship. Right now, all we're talking about is that you are going to acknowledge and step right into womanhood for you. It won't be about anybody else. Even if this is the thing you do in the kitchen where no one's watching, even if this is your ritual in the bathroom when you're alone and no one gets to see it, it'll be your secret. The woman no one even knows how great she is yet, because she hasn't decided whether or not she's going to tell them, or how, or when. Right now, it's the making of you and it's nobody else's business. These are your memories for you. You live this, not for him, not for her, not for them. You live this for the old lady that takes her last breath and says, I'm so glad I let myself dance in the kitchen. I'm so glad I used the body wash I loved and spent way too long in the shower for me. I'm so grateful I had cool sheets and soft legs for me. I'm so glad I lived for me. We'll see how much this will impact the world later, because it will. But for this month, do it for you, for the grandness and the greatness of being you, and that's it. And if you're worried about what the outside world will think, don't worry about the outside world. Celebrate it in here. Or you might encourage a woman who's been on the fence about starting, who hasn't found the time and the energy. As you be more of you in here, you'll inspire other people to give it a shot. My dream, my desire, my hope, my wish is that when we get on this next module, every single one of you have at least one story, one memory, just at least one. If there's so many you can't count, we're winning beyond belief. But if there's at least one, we're in a good place. Thank you for tuning into this. I am so excited for us. Go live your life, romance it, have the time of your life. And I will see you here before you know it for the next module.